What is going on YouTube? MACS back with a brand new video for you guys today. And as you saw by the thumbnail and the title of the video, I made the switch, you guys. I went from using not only the Google Pixel 7 Pro, but the Nothing Phone 1 and several different Android phones that I've tried over the past few months or so. But I've switched over to an iPhone 14 Pro in this amazing new purple color, which I didn't think I would like too much, but it's actually growing on me a little bit. So, and as you can see here in the light, it looks pretty great. So I just wanted to give you guys my thoughts on switching, why I did it, why I think it's a good idea to, why you shouldn't, etc. I mean, there's been a lot of videos on, people switching to an iPhone or switching to an Android device. But me as just an everyday person that's not, a big tech YouTuber that's, that's able to get the latest and greatest tech out there without really paying for it. Just from my perspective, like just your normal user, I am a techie, but more than anything, I'm a normal user, and give you the reasons why I made the switch. So first things first, I did get the 14 Pro, so not the 14 Pro Max, sorry, not the Plus. Which is actually what I'm using to record this video, an iPhone 14 Plus, which I will be making a new video on a little later this week. I have a lot of thoughts on that phone. But anyways, so yes, I did get this purple 14 Pro. I got it off a seller on Twitter for a really, really great price that I just could not pass on. So I just jumped on it. It's kind of new color, great price. Why not, And I've been surprisingly not amazed because I have used an iPhone before. I did use a 13 Pro Max last year and I loved it. But you just got bored of it, got stale, and you just Google's Pixel 7 Pro came out, and then the foldables and stuff, and it's just iPhones just aren't doing too much. But man, once you go back to an iPhone after using an Android phone, it's kind of like you're back in the mix, I guess. Like for me, for example, my whole family uses iPhones. My mom, my wife, my 2-year-old son. No, just kidding. But you get me. I mean, everybody uses iPhones, and I'm the only one with an Android phone, right? I'm the weird one with the Android phone. And for months, for a long time, I would defend it. Like, hey, like you don't need to have an iPhone to be able to communicate with people. You know what I mean? Because the argument is, but I can't FaceTime you, or I can't iMessage you, I can't send you videos because they'll look like complete trash when I send it to an Android phone. And yeah, a lot of great points, but there are a lot of different workarounds. But it is harder to, it is more steps, I guess, Like my argument was, well, just get WhatsApp, or call me on a messenger through video messenger on the actual Facebook Messenger app, or Snapchat and stuff like that. I mean, there's different ways of sending videos and pictures and calling people and messaging people. It's iMessage and FaceTime is not the only thing out there. And I know around the world, iPhones aren't as big, but they're still pretty big outside of the US. But in the US, the iPhone is the phone. MKBHD just released a video a couple weeks ago or a week ago, basically breaking down the different demographics and how many what kind of phones people use, what I mean? As far as like people around my age in the US, they usually use an iPhone. People under 25, teenagers use iPhones. The older you get, and as far as the demographic charts go, people start using different kinds of Android phones, which is awesome. I mean, great. I mean, it would be awesome if more people use Android phones, right? Like just spread it out. Not just have one singular phone be the dominant one in the US, but for right now, iPhone is just the king right now, and it's tough. It's gonna be tough because they have so much going on and so much different. It's kind of hard to just break people out of that ecosystem, right? So, and I'm not really in the ecosystem per se. I don't have an Apple Watch. I don't have AirPods. I don't have an iPad. I don't have a MacBook or anything like that. I'm using a Fossil Gen 6 hybrid watch right now. I'm not on an Apple Watch. You know what I mean? When last year I did have an Apple Watch, AirPods Pros with my 13 Pro Max, but now just a phone, and you don't need the ecosystem, okay, guys? I mean, you really don't. Um, it's expensive. But I mean, it is nice to have, but it's expensive, right? So this is just my, sorry, I just kicked my tripod again. um, so just kind of like why I switched, right? Obviously, my family uses iPhones, so it's easier to communicate. I have a 2-year-old son that I'm constantly kind of keeping track of with my wife, sending pictures, sending videos, calling, FaceTiming, and stuff like that with them and stuff like that whenever I'm not home. So that's how I keep kind of connected with everybody now. There's different group chats that I wasn't a part of. There's different things that I wasn't able to do with everybody because I didn't have an iPhone, right? Like last year, we went to on a family vacation, and they made an album of all the pictures and videos that they took, and they shared it through the Photos app on the iPhone. So going back to an Android after that, because I had an iPhone when we went on that trip. I wasn't able to see those pictures because they were only available on the Photos app on iOS. So that's another thing right there. And just overall, I mean, Android's great. I mean, I loved my Pixel 7 Pro. I used the S22 Ultra for a little bit. I had the Nothing phone for a little while. And all those phones are awesome, but I guess it's not really peer pressure, but it's just the ability to have something that works better for you is still out there. You know what I mean? Like an iPhone works better for a lot of different people in the US and outside of the US because of the reasons that I stated before. But anyways, just going over to the actual phone here. Of course, I do have the purple color. And I didn't think I was going to like it, but I jumped on it for the good price, and it's actually grown on me quite a bit. I really, really like this color. It kind of reminds me of like a Jolly Rancher kind of color. I don't know why I thought of Jolly Rancher, but even the stainless steel size there, you get that hint of purple. And I really, really like it, This feels really nice in the hand. It's a 6.1 inch phone, right? It's not the max model. So it's not a big phone, but it still feels pretty heavy in the hand. The iPhone 14 Plus that I'm recording with feels a lot lighter than this, and that's pretty crazy to me, but that's besides here or there. Obviously, you get the triple camera setup in the back with the LiDAR sensor and the flash. Great cameras, really, really solid. I know I would say they're better as far as point and shoot than the Pixel 7 Pro per se, because I thought the pictures on the 7 Pro were so great. So it's just really hard to top that. But obviously you do get a solid set of cameras there, especially for video recording, which iPhone is still king in my opinion. The 7 Pro had really good video recording capabilities, but the iPhone is still untouched for some reason. I don't know why Android manufacturers can't get it right with video. Google's pretty close. Looked really, really good. I haven't tried the newer phones like the S23 Ultra, so I can't tell you guys if that's better or not. For me, video is still king on iPhone. So that's another big reason why I kind of wanted to jump, because I wanted those better cameras. Anyways, going on to the front of the screen here, you do get that 6.1 inch OLED display, beautiful OLED display. And that you do get the always on display. So that's pretty cool. A lot of people were complaining about it looking like it's stayed on this whole time or whatever. Like when you put it down, it just looks like it's on. I think it's kind of cool that it shows a wallpaper. And as you can see there, it's kind of like a cool animation depending on the wallpaper you have. Like in this one, it's in always on display mode right now. You raise it, and then the wallpaper just kind of lights up. So that's pretty cool. I don't mind having the wallpaper there. Obviously, you are now able to get rid of the wallpaper in AOD and just have the clock and your widget show up in your notifications. So that's neat that you're able to do that. But for me, this looks pretty cool. It doesn't really kill my battery, to be honest. I haven't tried using it without the AOD on, so I don't know how much better it would be on battery if it wasn't on. But to me, it's not really a big issue as far as battery draining with the AOD on. Anyways, back to the screen itself, we do have the dynamic island now. Okay, so that's been a big point of contention for a lot of people. Is this better than a notch? It's tough. It's tough because as you can see there, it moves, it shrinks, it grows, it activates your Face ID. And it just looks cool. You get like a little widget now, as far as like, okay, let's say I'm gonna play some music here. Let me lower the volume so I don't want any copyright strikes. But I'm playing music, you can just throw it up there and it just stays up there. So now instead of looking for the app again, you can just go ahead and just tap on the dynamic island and it'll take you to that. So that's cool. It does look cool. It does look to me more futuristic than a notch, obviously. But is it better? Like, should you upgrade from a 13 Pro to a 14 Pro because of the dynamic island by itself? I don't think so. I mean, a notch doesn't move. It just stays there. You kind of forget about it. Whereas in the dynamic island, it's kind of like always in your face. It's always doing something. It's always moving. It's always changing. Does it add functionality? A little bit, I guess it does. But it's more than anything just to kind of hide the fact that you have two cutouts in the middle of the screen there. And I think Apple did a really good job as far as like making it a feature instead of just having, two, like a pill and a little circle, a hole punch cutout for the camera and the Face ID sensor. So they made something out of it. So that's cool. And I appreciate that. But is it worth upgrading to just because of that? Not really. But like I said, it is cool. It does look, futuristic, and it just looks newer. Better, maybe. It is a little bit smaller than a notch, but it's kind of cutting into your screen more. So now you do have that space on top of the island there. When as in the notch, it was kind of just stuck up there, and you can still see around it and stuff, but you wouldn't have the little space there. I think that little space does kind of change the way you look at content. I used to be able to just watch full screen videos on my 13 Pro Max and not really be bothered by the notch. But now you're watching full screen videos on the 14 Pro, it's kind of like, I kind of shrink back to the regular standard, aspect ratio for videos, which I can't think of on the top of my head right now, but you know what I'm saying. So I don't really pinch to zoom anymore on videos because of the dynamic island. It just looks weird to me. I don't know. But just in everyday usage, as in just going through different apps, going to Twitter, Facebook, whatever, obviously you're going to forget that it's there for the most part. You're not going to notice it because you're not going to be seeing it in the middle of your screen. But videos, I think it does affect it a little bit. So that's one of the, I guess, negatives as far as the new screen goes. But I mean, obviously you get 120 hertz. You get the new A16 Bionic chip. It's a fast phone, obviously. It's got the newest chip. It's got 6 gigs of RAM, I think, this one, which is more than enough for iOS to run on. So that's awesome. It has had little hiccups here and there as far as glitches. There's been times where like I'll be scrolling or I'll open up my phone and this widget will just disappear. And I tap on it or whatever, it doesn't open anything. And then it just pops back up. So that's a little weird. I've seen other people have different issues as far as the screen freezing and stuff like that, but I haven't really noticed anything huge. Just kind of that one little bug that's kind of weird that just makes that specific side of the screen widget disappear. So that's about it though as far as the bugs go. I haven't really experienced anything crazy on it. iOS usually is more stable than Android, but to me, the Pixel 7 Pro was a lot smoother to me. The animations look nicer. The screen was quicker for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it's just how Android is or whatever, but the Pixel 7 Pro did seem a little bit faster to me. Anyways, like I said, cameras have been fantastic. Battery life has been pretty good. It hasn't been bad like a lot of people say the 14 Pro has bad battery life. I don't think it does. I think it's up there with the Pixel 7 Pro actually, since I was using the 7 Pro for a good while there. And this will get me through the day, obviously, and then some. Not like the 14 Plus though. The 14 Plus, I'm gonna say that for the video, but it is this one is just crazy. Anyways, but yeah, battery life is solid. It'll get you through the day. It's not gonna be your 13 Pro Max, 14 Pro Max battery, but it definitely is not bad at all. I mean, it's not bad. I never used a 13 Pro, so I can't really compare it to the 14 Pro, but to me, battery life has been good. So nothing negative to say there. Obviously, you can always wish for bigger battery life, but it'll do for me. You know, as long as I get 100 a day and I'm able to charge it at night, I'm good. I'm trying to think of anything else. I'm kind of just going off the whim here. Yeah, I mean, it's nice being on iOS. You know, it's nice having those features back as far as FaceTime, iMessage, and stuff like that. It's kind of nice being part of the clan again. You know what I mean? Because you do kind of feel like an outsider when you're using an Android phone and everybody around you uses an iPhone. So, not that should discourage anybody from using an iPhone, an Android. I mean, I love my Android phones. But just for me, it's kind of, if there's an easier way to do stuff, then why not? You know what I mean? Still much love to Android though. They're the ones innovating. They're the ones changing things. They're the ones kind of pushing the envelope and pushing Apple to do stuff like the dynamic island, you know? So with that being said, you guys, thank you guys for watching the video. I tried to make this kind of short, but it turned out to be kind of long. So sorry about that. But I appreciate you guys sticking around watching the video. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Welcome to the new subscribers that I have on here. I appreciate you guys subscribing, hitting the like video. And, you know, I haven't experienced the biggest growth over the last few months. I haven't really been consistent as far as weekly uploads, but I'm trying to be as consistent as I can. But I appreciate you guys for sticking around, and I will catch you guys in the next video.